Johannesburg Stock Exchange is Africa's largest exchange by far, with the largest market cap and the deepest liquidity.
Yep, so the market itself in Johannesburg, of course, was established between the chains 120 years ago because people needed to trade those mining concessions. But of course, it is now located here in this premise that we're talking from right now. With a fabulous building in Sandton, yada, yada, yada.
Still very objective on our conversation. Market cap?
10.9 billion rand.
Price to earnings ratio of 15 and a dividend yield of 3.1.
Yes, so Russell Loubser, let me get my pronunciation right, was the guy who professionalized it, because before that, like in the 1980s, it was a bunch of drunks down on Diagonal Street shouting at each other on the floor, and the business had nothing, no capital, no technology, no systems, no nothing. It transforms itself to a...
Moving swiftly on from that
substantial,
comment, by the way.
No, all those people have died from alcoholism already. We don't have to worry about them. The people who run the business now are like young professionals like Nikki Newton-King. You know, it's a completely different operation nowadays.
Good to know. Good to know with that disclosure there. Right, so where are we going with this discussion? There is a dominant position which obviously works in favor of the JSE.
And I must say, as I sit here, I'm not entirely sure whether that dominance is entirely assured, because I have seen stories about other people starting exchanges and so on. But
well, there's stories about them starting. They haven't quite started yet.
Exactly.
So right now, it is a dominant position.
Although, you know, of course, that internationally, stock exchanges hasn't been a fantastic business. It's very competitive. Even the NYSE is getting chowed by the NASDAQ and by other electronic exchanges where companies can exchange shares. Globally, there's been big consolidation, but to some extent, given our location.
Can we look at the share price graph there?
I think it looks pretty good. The earnings have been solid, very solid. And of course, as market turnover rises, they benefit.
But this is always going to track the market.
Yes.
To some extent.
To some extent, although when markets get volatile, to some extent for a while, there's more turnover. Remember, they also own the futures exchange, the bond exchange, so they kind of got everything stitched up in our local
Hot
environment.
or not on the JSE Limited? Hot.
I'll go hot, I'll say. You know, because at the end of the day, I think their moat is high, and our location at the southern tip of Africa means that people have to come here to trade. There's no real competition from any global
Just to
player.
unpack that investment speak, the moat being high means that there are significant barriers to entry when it comes to challenging their position as a dominant exchange.
Excellent.
How's that?
That's exactly right.